I tell you what, when this pond is full, it is absolutely gorgeous. And right now, if you look over there at the bottom left of your screen, we are 100% full. Looks amazing. You have no idea how much joy seeing this pond full brings me. The problem, however, is that despite the well pump constantly running to top this thing off and keep it full, our leak has persisted and the pond continues to drain down. So over there on the far side of the pond, you can see the solar powered well pump from RPS churning it out. The pump is fighting off evaporation, and we've had an immense amount of rain this spring. I feel like we get about 2 inches of rain every 5 days here in Indiana right now. And the pond looks great. The problem though, if those rains stop, it is not gonna stay that way. Because for the last year and a half or so, this pond has had a leak. What's interesting though, is this is not your typical pond leak. If you're new here, this is a fully excavated pond. We didn't have a natural depression or anything like that. We simply dug a giant hole in an old field. And while we do have a small berm here to kind of dam up the water, we don't have a dam in the traditional sense. And so last fall, we were getting a little seepage through this dam here, if you want to call it that, berm, whatever. We dug in a core trench, backfilled with some good clay, and mostly stopped that seepage or leak. Water was making its way here on this backside and making this area really wet. Most of that water that was coming through here is now stopped. However, this area is still wet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The bigger issue we had last fall was in this area right here. This is where the leak becomes unique. As I mentioned, 50, 60 years ago, this was an old ag field. So there's clay drainage tile throughout this area. And last fall, when the pond got full, I found an area where water was trickling down in, hitting an old clay pipe here, and then running to an open spot on the other side of the barn. So as you can see how this area is all disturbed, we got the backhoe out, dug it up, we found that clay pipe, separated it from the pond, filled it full of concrete, packed it full of clay, thinking that was gonna stop the water from running down there. But guess what? We didn't fix it. Well, I think we fixed that. I'm gonna post that video down below so you guys can go review that fix and see if you think we did in fact probably fix this issue. However, I think there are more clay tiles we need to be concerned about. And so for the last year or so, we've had an open spot on the other side of the barn where water's been bubbling up. Last weekend, I went out there with the shovel and started digging on it. I'm gonna jump to that footage now, show you guys what I did, and then we're gonna walk over there and take a peek. So here's a quick look at the leak or the area before we get started. Just trimmed everything down. You can see the debris moving right here. That's where the water's bubbling up. There's actually a spot over here I saw the other day that looked like was forcing water up. The pond's pretty much full right now, so we should have the max, call it head pressure, we're gonna have. I can tell you that I know that pipe's about 3 feet down. I've put my arm down there before and found the clay pipe. And you can see there the kind of flow that's coming off the pond. You see that water rippling through there. That's all coming from that pipe. So we're gonna start digging and see what we find. I probably won't video all of that. If you're wondering why I'm not using the backhoe, because it doesn't matter if I crush that pipe, well, my sewer line runs right through here as well when I put that in about 5 or 6 years ago. So I got to hand dig this. It's going to be a nice fun mess. All right, quick update for you guys. I decided to bring a sump pump in here. So I'm kind of digging a sump pit on that far side and pumping down as needed. Kind of doing it in waves. You know, dig my pit deeper, pump it out, work on this side, and then kind of stage it down because it's just slurry when you try to dig in water. I don't know if you can see right here is where the pipe's bubbling up. I'm going to pump it down for you. Got blue skies over there, but we're about 20 minutes away from an inch plus of rain, so I don't know how much further I'll get. If you don't have a sump pump laying around, you should. They're so handy. I use this thing all the time, this little rig. All right, there's the chocolate river. Kind of want to just mess this into a slurry and let this pump do the work for me. There you go, check that out. That right there may erode everything for me. Tell me that's just groundwater, not somehow tied to the pond. This is ridiculous. All right, one last update for you guys before the rain. Then again, it could also not rain at all. That's just how it is here in Indiana. Okay, check this out though. I got clay tile. There's some serious water coming out of that thing. That leading edge right there I could probably pull off. I think I'm gonna do though now is clean this out a little bit more. And I know I have to come back toward myself further, which is good because I think I can then come back toward where I'm sitting, closer to the barn. I think the sewer is over there. I'm gonna study some old pictures and make sure. But I might be able to dig this with a backhoe further to the barn and really get a nice pit opened up. I wish I could find the pond side of this. I thought we did last year when we crushed that one clay pipe and covered it with concrete. I don't know. This is kind of strange. All right, now it's party. So I'm about 90% sure my sewer is on the far side of this hole. And when I had the water drained out, the pipe that's running through here The head of it's kind of right here. If you follow the trajectory of the pipe, it wants to run right where the backhoe's sitting, kind of toward that post there. So I'm at least just going to grade the top 2.5, 3 feet back so I can hand dig closer to the pipe so I don't crush it, but just, you know, save a little bit of labor here. The old girl. Let's hope I don't smash my sewer or my camera. Man, it's really soft right here. Gotta do it in stages. Can I reach to set it on the backside? Not really. Don't fill the hole back in. Good topsoil there. Don't I look great, by the way? All right, let's pump this down and see where we're at. You can probably see it there a little bit. It's kind of murky from disturbing it. When this water sits for a minute, you can see how blue-green it is. It's definitely pond water. I'd love to know where the other side of this is, man. It's driving me crazy. Maybe one more scoop. I don't want to get those teeth into that clay tile if I'm going to try to put a boot on it. All right, guys, so check this out. Backhoe did its job. Super helpful. Now, a lot of head scratching going on because I don't know what to do. Quite honestly, I really don't. I don't know whether I'm going to end the video here short and get your opinions or carry on, kind of troubleshoot with my buddy Chris. But here's where we're at. So let me drain this down for you. Yummy. All right, check out the inflow we have. So as I said, I dug back with the backhoe, and then I got the garden hose out somewhere. So then I got a garden hose out and started kind of water jetting it so I wouldn't break the tile with a shovel or anything. And I don't know if you guys can see the little break kind of right there. That's not a break, like I didn't damage the tile. They're like little 12-inch sections. So here's a piece that I pulled up just for point of reference and to check the diameter of it. You can see how full of clay it was, still letting some water through. I'd imagine as I go further back though it's going to get a little cleaner. But anyway, you can see that the inflow coming right there. I don't know what I'm going to do. Part of me says now, why don't you just chase this and keep digging up clay tile and figure out, you know, where the source of it is at the pond by doing it that way. The problem is, if I were to start digging a straight line through here, I just ran that electric to the solar panels last summer, and it comes right through here. I do feel like I remember hitting a piece of clay though, whenever I was digging through here. And so if you kind of follow the line that we're on, it should run kind of right through that pole. I did not hit it whenever I was digging that pole or setting that post. Don't know what to do. Maybe I'll get a scope and run it up through here. If I can, like a water jet and a sewer cam. Part of me also says, well, why don't you just follow the line, Adam, and dig out here and find it, and then pick back up with where you're going. This indentation, you probably can't see it, but I'm standing in the trench for the electric. I did not hit it here. So yeah, it should probably be on the left side of this. I don't know. So I'm at a loss, and I'm also a total mess. I don't know what to do. At this point, I feel like capping that or putting that riser on it makes zero sense, because knowing how that's built, it is going to leach backwards, and we're going to have issues for sure. I want to find it on the pond side, and if I could get a scope in there and follow it through, maybe I could get it to poke up on the pond side and find it. I also thought about if I could run like an air line and force air backwards, but seeing how much clay's in there, I'm not sure it would work. My thinking was that if the air daylighted at the other end, it'd blow bubbles in the pond and you'd find it. I don't know. All right, look at the color of that water. Tell me that is not dyed pond water. What an absolute mess. I'm gonna figure this out though. At least that sump pump works. Serious inflow too. Okay, so you saw where I left things the other day. Yesterday, I came out here with a tractor and I actually loaded a bunch of dirt around the rim of that hole to kind of bring the elevation of that area up. I'm gonna build a little dam around it to try to match the water height of the pond. Well, I did that, and I'm starting to learn a whole lot more as I make these little changes and fixes. Check this out. So I finally bought myself a rotary laser, which allowed me to shoot grade and find that this red spot right here on the tree is roughly the high water mark on the pond. So while I mounted up all this dirt, didn't quite get close to the high water mark, I was just gonna test this thing and see what was going on. What's interesting is if you look around this rim, we are not really losing any water anywhere. It never crested what I built, which made me question what the heck's going on. Well, check this out. Got ourselves a flood right here. I had thought that maybe it breached on the backside. That's not the case. Because as we all know, everyone say it with me, that's the case. That's right, that's the case. Anyway, I got to looking at this a little closer. Couldn't figure out where this water was coming. Well, I mentioned that when I was doing that electric, I thought I remember hitting a piece of clay. Definitely did. All of that water is now seeping out of the ground right here. You can see it just kind of comes out of nowhere. So when I dammed that up, I matched the height of the pipe right here, and now it's bubbling up right here. And this whole area here is now becoming an absolute swamp. I'm not mad I messed with this and did what I did. However, I'm probably done screwing with it because now I forced the water to come out elsewhere. This at least helped me learn that I do have pipe running through here, and this one's coming off the pond. And that pipe there that's coming out of the ground was 1000% tied to the area we fixed last fall. The way we determined that was we actually just stood up there, one of us, so I muddied the water, and within about 3 or 4 minutes, the water was muddy down here. So we know that there was a direct link. My question is, after we made that fix, how can that pipe still be putting that amount of water out? I mean, we separated it by like 4 feet from the pond and put like 4 bags of concrete on it. I don't understand it. Again, that video is down below if you want to check it out and get your thoughts on it as well. And also, if you follow that line that I had drawn between my hole and then this spot here, it kind of goes straight through this pole. Edge of the pond is over here. So if we follow this trajectory, how is this pipe getting water from the pond? Unless it comes up here in 45 somewhere, I don't know. Now I will say, when I dug my electric, which came through here with the trencher, and then the backhoe took over and went that way, I do not recall seeing it out here. So maybe somewhere in here it does 45 and square up toward the pond. And so as I said in that little bit of video I shot the other day, I don't know what to do. So should I dig kind of right here and try to pick back up and find that tile? Like I said, my electric's right here. I could start digging here, running that way, and try to find it and then chase it up. Or we could go out here even further, closer to the pond, which probably makes more sense, right? You know it's pond water, why not dig closer to the pond? Maybe dig a run starting out here by the firewood, going back this way, and try to just locate it again. I truly don't know what to do, guys. I'm seeking your help. If you have any advice or expertise in this area, let me know. This clay tile is old enough that there's no aerial imagery to be able to figure out where it was run. So if you're an expert in old clay field tile and you know how the systems were traditionally laid out, let me know. I had thought about getting a sewer scope and starting there and running it up, but I know this is pulling hard off the pond somewhere. How do I find this damn thing? The way I found it last fall is that it had eroded a little hole, and I could hear water sucking down the hole and then trickling in to where we broke that pipe. But again, if you watch that video, we destroyed this area. So much concrete. There's no clean chute from here to the pond anymore. I think I broke the pipe somewhere back in here. I cannot imagine that that pipe head is the one drawing down. So there has to be multiple sources somewhere that are feeding a larger trunk line. Another thing I will say is I'm so very hesitant to do much of anything right now. The pond is 100% full. It's not going to stay that way if rains slow down and we continue with this leak. And I should probably do something on the side of the barn so that whole side of the barn itself is not soggy, like sitting on the footer. But what I don't want to do is dig a core through here, find it, and then it just gush thousands of gallons of water out of the pond and bleed it down. Or make this entire area where we split firewood, kind of more picturesque side of the pond, more nasty. So maybe I wait until the fall to do something. But let's say it's fall time. What do? Do I dig this run right here? Well, that's what I'm thinking. Dig this run, and then once you have an open, clean pipe, run a water jet up that clay pipe to clean it out, or a sewer scope. The better question, is there a way to find it on the pond side right now? If I don't want to dig up this area, do you guys have any advice or ideas as to how to figure out where to find this water drawing down? One would assume it's in this area. My buddy Chris actually thinks it's somehow pulling from underneath the beach. I really hope that's not the case. Again, the case is actually over there. But I don't know what to do. And let's talk about this other wet area here. So like I mentioned, we put a core in this last fall, moved a ton of dirt in, because last fall, this little dam, if you will, was seeping water. I would say about right here last fall was soggy. And my feet are about matching the water level of the pond. So this area was just soggy. The back side of this was seeping through. And even if I step down here 3 or 4 more feet down, this is not wet. This here is starting to get a little bit wet. However, I don't think the water sitting right here to my right is actually seeping through the dam. So get a load of this. Aside from the mess here, look at all the standing water. And like I said, we did have about 1.75 inches of rain 2 days ago. So some of that is still sitting here from the rain. But there is a lot of water here. And if it's not wet up there, how is it wet back here? Me and my buddy Chris have talked, and he was like, why don't you just start digging a core right through here as well? See if there's another clay pipe. And I will tell you this, when I was running this raceway for electric last fall, that roughly right in here with the trencher, I know I hit a piece of clay tile. Water wasn't running from it, but I absolutely hit a piece of clay tile with an angle kind of right toward where that wet hole is. So that kind of makes me think we have maybe 2 different places drawing down water on the pond. So I don't know exactly what to do. I really don't want to just start digging a bunch of random holes back here if I don't have to. Locating this on the pond side is really what needs to happen. So if you guys have any genius ideas as to how to do that, let me know. One thought I did have was, okay, you know where the one hole is, you've already got it all dammed up. Open your dam, let that free flow hard, let it pull down hard. And instead of running a jet up it to get to the pond, go to the pond and start muddying the water. See if you can see the dirt cloud in the water being pulled into the pipe. That's really the only way I know. Hopefully there's a better way to do it, but I don't know, I'm at a loss. And I suppose I could do the same thing over here once I found and daylighted that pipe as well. So this leak is a real pain, but again, it could be worse. This could be a 45-foot tall dam with water leaking through it. What we have here is fixable. It's just a matter of when do you fix it, because the water's full, don't want to drain it down right now. And how can I be smart about finding the leaks without just digging massive holes everywhere? So if this was your pond, what would you do? Right now, I'm just gonna kind of let it go. I got other projects that take priority, especially for using the backhoe. Here real soon, I'm gonna start mounting up my dirt for my water feature, my waterfall, stream, whatever you wanna call it. It's gonna be really cool, but it's gonna take an insane amount of dirt. I'm in the final planning stages of that project. If you haven't heard me talk about that project, basically we're gonna put about 10, 12 foot tall amount of dirt here, kind of fanning down into the pond. The well pump is gonna be the primary or everyday source of water for a waterfall or stream that goes down into the pond. And we're gonna supplement it with a monster sized pump that's gonna pull water from the pond. And we're gonna work to get like 8,000 to 10,000 gallons an hour of water running down this thing and turn on demand. But you know what? We can't very well pull water from the pond if there's no water in the pond. So please let me know your thoughts. What should I do here? Because I cannot stand this thing falling down 3 or 4 feet. It's too beautiful as it is. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.